Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star 2 episode number 51 based on novel. So let's start. There is a very vast extremely cold ice field on the origin continent, which is called the Chinji ice field. Its territory is so vast that it can even be compared with the territory of the ancient Flame Wind country. However, the environment of this extremely cold ice field is harsh, and the number of practitioners is less than 1% of that of the ancient Flame Wind country. In the Chinji ice field, there is no country but only scattered forces. The incarnation of Lord Zhujiang looked at the huge icy city in front of him, Juefeng City. Juefeng City is also a large city, built entirely of ice. The number of people living in the city is several times more than that of Huyang City. In the Chinji ice field, there are only enough practitioners in the city. Outside the city, there are almost no tribes to be seen. The harsh environment makes it difficult for the tribes to survive. The great sage Juefeng has finally come out of seclusion. Marquis Zhujiang also received the message and came to visit the great sage Juefeng again. Inside the majestic city, there is a huge cave in the center of the city. It is the cave of the city's lord, the great sage Juefeng. Please come in, Lord Zhujiang. The main entrance of the cave was personally led by the attendant of the eternal true God. Soon, they arrived at a hall. Come, brother Zhujiang, sit down. A burly figure with dark skin sat there and grinned. I have been practicing in seclusion before, and I am sorry to have kept you waiting for a long time, brother Zhujiang. Brother Juefeng's cultivation is the most important thing. Zhu Jianghu flattered with a smile. The people he visited for help were no less powerful than Liu Yinhu. This great sage Juefeng was free and easy, and was unwilling to join any country. He occupied a large city, commanded hundreds of millions of practitioners, and practiced at will, but no one dared to provoke him. In terms of strength, great sage Juefeng is no less than Marquis Liu Yin, and is also at the pinnacle of the Chaos Realm. In terms of background, great sage Juefeng was once a registered disciple under an emperor of the ancient country of Yangfeng. However, the ancient country of Yangfeng gathered too many elites and the competition was fierce. Great sage Juefeng finally chose to leave the ancient country of Yangfeng and come to the Chinji ice field to become a free and easy great sage of chaos. Zhu Jiang's words are so pleasant to hear. Great sage Juefeng grinned and said, "Tell me, what do you want to see me for?" Zhu Jianghu put down his wine glass and said, "Brother Juefeng, my neighbor Liu Yinhu is now plotting against my fiefdom. I heard about your story." Great sage Juefeng nodded. Marquis Liu Yin is fierce and overbearing. It would be strange if he didn't bully you. Zhu Jianghu's face froze, and he nodded. I'm really not sure I can resist him, so I came to ask for help. If Brother Juefeng is willing to help, just let me know if you need anything. The great sage Juefeng grabbed the huge green gold wine cup and drank the wine first before saying, "There is no chaos realm in your Yu kingdom who is willing to help you." Zhu Jianghu nodded and said, "Yes, there are only a handful of people in our Yu kingdom who can rival Liu Yinhu. Even the king of the country finds it difficult to mobilize them. How can I ask for help? Of course you don't want to move." The great sage Juefeng put down his wine glass. It took countless hardships to reach the Chaos Realm. Who is willing to fight for you? If you take out a treasure like the God King weapon to invite you, you may be able to invite strong reinforcements, but do you have such a treasure? No, said Lord Zhujiang. You can say whatever you want. But in fact, you can't produce the real treasure. Who is willing to risk his life for you and Liu Yinhu? Zhu Fengdaoxing shook his head. Liu Yinhu is a cruel and tyrannical person who will never give up a single grudge. He is also at the peak of the Chaos Realm. Who knows when he will break through and enter the God King level? You are just talking nonsense to fight with such a being. Great sage Juefeng sneered. Zhujiang, you really did a bad job. Brother Juefeng, I know that the treasures I can offer are too few. Zhu Jianghu said helplessly, but since it involves my fiefdom, I can't do anything about it. Your fiefdom has 3 large cities and 189 ordinary cities. The great sage Juefeng joked, "If I help you protect your fiefdom, the cultivator residence fee of the 2 large cities and 100 ordinary cities will belong to me forever. You may accept it." Marquis Zhejiang felt a little embarrassed. He only had Zhejiang City and a few ordinary cities at the top level of Chaos Realm left. Even if he had no ambition, he could easily occupy a large city. I am Liu Yin who fought at all costs, but in the end there is only so little left. What's the point of fighting? You see, you are reluctant to give it up. The great sage Juefeng shook his head. Fighting for the fiefdom is not a temporary dispute, but a long-term dispute. It is to completely offend Liu Yin Hu to death. If you don't have enough benefits, no one will be willing to help you. Come on, let's not talk about things, let's drink. Zhu Jiang, who could only drink in depression for a century. He originally thought that since he had many friends, he might be able to get some powerful help. But when it comes to fighting Liu Yin Hu, no one can be invited. Outside Huyang City. Wow. The blood-red flames condensed, revealing an incarnation of Liu Yin Hu. During the last battle of Huyang City, Lord Zhejiang should have realized that he could not win the battle of the Eternal Army. Lord Liu Yin looked at Huyang City from afar, so he kept going around to invite friends for help. Marquis Liu Yin also heard that Marquis Zhejiang went to some places to invite strong men. After a century, the Lord Zhejiang should have recognized the reality. I guess he can't hire any of them. Lord Liu Yin is very confident, a confidence built over a long period of time. He has always acted brutally and domineeringly, and even if someone of the same level wants to intervene, they have to weigh the cost of doing so. Even if we invite help, we still have to decide the winner, Liu Yin Hu thought. The reason why he waited patiently was that even if the Eternal Level Legion won and temporarily occupied the 3 large cities. But once Lord Zhejiang invites reinforcements, he will still have to fight. It is better to wait patiently until the situation becomes clear. Maybe Lord Zhejiang knew that he was not strong enough and was completely scared, so he didn't dare to take action and directly gave up his fiefdom. Yana. Liu Yin Hu gave the order through voice transmission. Father. In Huyang City, Liu Yinyang at the Xinying Men station heard his father's voice. You can contact your senior brothers and sisters now, and ask the 2 Snow Realm envoys to come over as well. Marquis Liu Yin transmitted, once your senior brothers and sisters arrive and are fully prepared, we can start the battle. I guess, this time, Marquis Zhejiang will probably take the initiative to give in. Yes, father. Liu Yinyang was overjoyed. Inside Huyang City. After receiving the message from his father, the blood-stained young man Liu Yinyang was overjoyed and immediately contacted his senior brothers and sisters. The battle between Liu Yin Hundun Province and Zhejiang Hundun Province has reached its final moment. My father inferred that Zhejiang Hu would retreat on his own initiative, knowing that he would be defeated. Liu Yinyang sent a message, please help me, brothers and sisters, and attack Zhejiang Hu's army together. Master has given instructions, and we should help. Junior brother, rest assured, we will come as quickly as possible. After getting the nod from the Snow Realm ancestor, the other 2 Snow Realm envoys were already ready. Once Liu Yin Hu summoned them, they would naturally rush to help as quickly as possible. After the communication was cut off, Liu Yinyang was quite excited. Master Yang, since the Marquis said that the Marquis of Zhejiang would voluntarily give in, it seems that this battle will go smoothly. The black-armored general on the side was also excited and looking forward to it. What did Lord Zhejiang use to fight my father? Liu Yinyang smiled and said, my senior brothers and sisters are coming soon. I have to prepare some food for them. Prepare food. The black-armored general's eyes lit up. He followed the young master in practicing in the Snow Realm and knew very well what the so-called food was. Don't worry, I'll give you some as well. Liu Yinyang glanced at his men. Thank you, Master Yang. The black-armored general was overjoyed. Liu Yinyang casually drew a line with his hand, and a model of Huyang City appeared in front of him. He looked at it and pointed to one of the areas. There are countless practitioners in Huyang City. This is the Fengyi district of Huyang City. There are about 10 billion practitioners living in the whole area. It's not bad to give it to my senior brothers and sisters as food. Let's go. Liu Yinyang led his subordinates and rode the Snow Realm messenger to quietly leave the Heart Realm base. A single Snow Realm envoy could not defeat the Ninjiang Marquis's army, but it was still easy to protect himself. Even with the strength Luo Feng showed on the surface, he could not do anything to the Snow Realm messenger. This envoy from the Snow Realm left the Heart Realm and headed straight for the Fengyi district of Huyang City. That young Master Yang has left the base. On the Xinjiang sect's side, the Xinjiang sect master and the 18 elders quickly received the news. We just need to keep an eye on the city lord's mansion. The Snow Realm envoy can come and go freely, and no one can threaten him. The Heart Shadow sect master gave an order, and the other elders also understood that they were not qualified to care about the Snow Realm envoy. The Snow Realm messenger took only a few steps and traveled through the void to the top of the Fengyi area. At this moment, most of the practitioners in Fengyi district were hiding in their residences, and did not dare to go out. Huyang City is now in a state of panic. The formation of the city lord's mansion covers the entire city, and the formation fluctuations of the Xinjiang sect are also spreading like ripples. This makes ordinary practitioners terrified. I don't know how long the fight will end. No matter who is in charge of Huyang City, we will be required to pay the residence fee. Let's just hide out for now. There are indeed about 10 billion practitioners in the entire Fengyi area, and they are all enduring. If we want to leave the city now, the formations of the two major forces will collide, and we might even die from the aftermath. However, the residential area is covered and protected by formations, so it can still withstand some of the aftermath. Hundreds of billions of blood food. The Snow Realm messenger's body was as white as snow and extremely holy. It looked down and stretched out its arm, and its palm quickly became extremely huge. The snow-white palm covered the sky above the entire Fengyi district and grabbed towards the Fengyi district. This big commotion naturally attracted the attention of all parties. Whether it was General Yu Wu who controlled the formation, Emperor Chuyu of Yangfeng Guild who could observe the entire city, or Luo Feng and Morosa who were at the level of Chaos Overlords, they all saw this scene at a glance. What is he doing? Morosa was shocked. Luo Feng, the Snow Realm messenger, watched this scene. The ancestor of the Snow Realm originally became a god king with the bloodline of the Avenue of Life. Blood is very magical. It contains endless information in itself and possesses powerful blood, which can enable rapid progress in cultivation. Morosa can promote its own evolution by absorbing some information about powerful blood. The ancestor of the Snow Realm had already thoroughly mastered the path of bloodline and even started to practice other branches of the Avenue of Life. In order to practice the secret method of blood, the practitioners in the Snow Realm like to catch blood food the most, which is an important resource for their practice. To capture all the living creatures in the Fengyi area and to capture them for blood, Luo Feng was also comprehending the great way of life. He knew very well that, in fact, he could cultivate the blood lineage by collecting some blood. Direct capture and long-term captivity to extract blood is purely for convenience. The lives of those who were kept in captivity for a long time and were taken for blood were extremely miserable, and their deaths were much more tragic than their own. Run to me and grab blood food. Luo Feng shook his head gently and disappeared into thin air, which startled Morosa beside him. Then he felt itchy and said, "Master, you can do whatever you want. When can I be so wanton and happy?" Boom boom. The Snow Realm messenger's snow-white palm covered the sky of Fengyi district, causing billions of creatures in Fengyi district to be terrified. The formation of the residential area in Fengyi district was easily torn apart by this snow-white palm. No. It's over. Why are you targeting us? We are just true gods. Billions of lives were powerless to resist and watched this scene in despair. Suddenly, poof! A hand came from the void and suddenly pierced into the chest of the snow-white, Snow World messenger. After practicing the transformation method, Luo Feng's divine body was like the most terrifying weapon. His fingers were extremely sharp and contained endless power, which easily pierced into the chest of the Snow Realm messenger. Luo Feng, who walked out of the void, was quite surprised. Is this Snow Realm envoy so fragile? Special mechanical secret treasures such as the Heart Demon Kite, Heart Shadow Demon General, and Snow Realm Envoy were rumored to be comparable to Chaos Realm weapons and secret treasures, and were extremely tough. But at this moment, Luo Feng pierced through it with his palm, and confirmed the true defensiveness of the Snow Realm Envoy. The material of this Snow Realm Messenger is at the bottom of the list among Chaos Realm weapons and secret treasures. In fact, because it is a mechanical secret treasure, it is a mechanical combination, so its stability is even worse. When Luo Feng pierced it, he also completely confirmed the strength of the Snow Realm Messenger. The Eternal True God will definitely not be able to break this Snow Realm Messenger, but a slightly more powerful Chaos Realm can damage it. The material is slightly inferior, and the stability is slightly poor. The manufacturing is very complicated, and it can allow a group of weak people to burst out with super strength. The value of a Snow Realm Messenger is equivalent to that of an ordinary Chaos Realm weapon secret treasure, which is about 200 million cosmic sands. Luo Feng has detailed information from his masters Washanka, so the valuation of mechanical secret treasures, weapons and other items is relatively accurate. After all, these were what my master sold in the first place. Buzz. As Luo Feng inserted his fingers into the Snow Realm Messenger's chest, he immediately sensed all the riders within the Snow Realm Messenger. 1 Commander, 36 Auxiliary Eternal True Gods and 49,000 Void True Gods, they are all in endless fear at this moment. A bloody aura. Luo Feng could feel the bloody aura of the leader Liu Yinyang and the 36 Eternal True Gods penetrating into their souls. They all worshipped under the ancestor of the Snow Realm and learned the blood lineage. The 49,000 Void True Gods do not have any bloody aura, and they are not qualified to learn the God King level inheritance. After all, cultivation requires a lot of blood food. The blood food consumed by the Chaos Realm and a large number of Eternal True Gods is huge, and there is not enough to share. Naturally, the Void True God is prohibited from using blood food. Even if it is forced to a corner, some middle and low-level people who make mistakes will also be used as blood food. It is indeed a tragedy for you to be born in the Snow Realm. Luo Feng had no intention of killing the 49,000 Void True Gods. He knew very well how pitiful the lower and middle classes in the Snow Realm were. If you were born in that territory, you couldn't escape even if you wanted to. Buzz. Luo Feng's thoughts were extremely fast. While inserting his sword into the chest of the Snow Realm emissary, he directly grabbed the leader Liu Yinyang with his palm. At the same time, an invisible wave swept across the 36 Eternal True Gods who were assisting him, killing them all. At the same time, all 49,000 Void True Gods were expelled, and they fell into the distance one by one. It pierced the chest and damaged a part of the chest. It can still be used after repair. It can be sold for a good price. Luo Feng put the Snow Realm Messenger away. After all, he was poor, so he had to cherish the Snow Realm Messenger worth about 200 million. Luo Feng then looked at the blood-robed young man, Liu Yinyang, in his palm. Liu Yinyang was caught in the palm of his hand. When he looked up, he saw a familiar man in black robe. At this moment, Luo Feng looked at the young man in blood robe coldly, as if he was looking at a dirty scum. Liu Yinyang couldn't believe it. You broke through to the Chaos Realm. Piercing the Snow Realm Messenger with one hand is definitely not something that the Eternal True God can do. Luo Feng stood above the thingy area, holding Liu Yinyang in his palm. Naturally, everyone saw this scene. Lord Luohe, he has reached the Chaos Realm. At the City Lord's mansion, General Yu Wu, General Yonghu and other Eternal True Gods were all shocked. Too many Eternal True Gods were eager to take that step. Even General Yu Wu, the outside world recognized that he would be able to achieve the Chaos Realm in the future, but when he would achieve that was unknown. Now, the Luohe God, who they thought they were very familiar with, has really entered the state of chaos. He is actually in the primal Chaos Realm. Meng Huatao Master murmured. He has already been in the primal Chaos Realm, or he has just broken through. Huyang City Lord also thought secretly. My master is in the Chaos Realm. Mo Yu Qingyang was a little confused. Mo Luosa on the side smiled and looked at Mo Yu Qingyang. The billions of creatures in Fengyi district were the most excited. They looked at the scene where Luo Feng grabbed Liu Yinyang with one hand in the sky, and they felt grateful and excited. We survived. My father, mother, wife, and my children all survived. My fellow disciples and my tribe all survived. There are all kinds of tribes living in Fengyi district, and there are even some small sects and small forces, and they all survived. That is Lord Luoha. The vast majority of the hundreds of millions of living beings did not recognize Luo Feng. However, there were some void true gods who knew some information and recognized at a glance that it was Luo Feng in the sky. It was Lord Luoha who saved my entire clan. Too many practitioners were grateful. That young Master Yang has been captured, the 36 eternal true gods are all dead, and I am free. The 49,000 void true gods that fell in all directions had different thoughts in their minds at this moment. Born in the territory of the Snow Realm, they lost the power of choice and had to serve the huge force of the Snow Realm. Even some losers will become blood food. Leave here, I will never return to the Snow Realm. The true god of the void left quietly. The Snow Realm envoys have all been taken away, how can we return to the Snow Realm? Some loyal void true gods still wanted to return to the Snow Realm. But this is Yu country, which is too far away from the Snow Realm. They could only hope that the Snow Realm would come to pick them up, or that Marquis Liu Yin would find a way to send them back. I'm afraid the Snow Realm won't care about us weaklings. I've tried so hard for so long that I can't go back. There are only a few of my people left alive. I will definitely take revenge. The 49,000 true gods of the void have different thoughts. As an old demon who ranks among the top 10 in sins in the entire origin continent, ancestor of the Snow Realm, is very cruel in managing the territory under his command, and there are countless people who hate the ancestor of the Snow Realm. But the ancestor of the Snow Realm didn't care. As long as his disciples reached the level of eternal true God, he would give them a drop of blood and let them learn the bloodline inheritance. Once you absorb this drop of blood, you will naturally be loyal and never betray. Therefore, in the Snow Realm, there may be a lot of resentment and hatred among the lower levels, but the middle and higher levels are extremely loyal. Luo Feng's casual move changed the fate of 49,000 void true gods and billions of lives in Fengyi district. I didn't expect that Luo He has already reached the Chaos Realm. At the Yangfeng Hall, Di Chuyu and the Deputy Hall Master were in a good mood watching this scene. I can then take Luo He back to the ancient country of Yangfeng. Di Chuyu thought. Emperor Chuyu then sent a voice message, Luo He, you and I have both entered the primal Chaos Realm, so when we are done with this, we can return to the ancient kingdom of Yangfeng. By the way, don't kill Liu Yinyang. If you kill Liu Yinyang publicly when the two armies are facing each other, Liu Yinhu will definitely take action against you for the sake of his reputation. Luo Feng heard Di Chuyu's voice transmission and looked at Liu Yinyang in his palm. With Liu Yinhu's personality, he has many children, so the death of Liu Yinyang. Liu Yinhu would not be too sad. However, when the two armies confronted each other, and he was a Chaos Realm man, Liu Yinhu could not tolerate it if he had any dignity. Lord Luoha, my father is Marquis Liu Yin, and my master is the ancestor of the Snow Realm. Please forgive my previous disrespect and spare my life. Liu Yinyan begged for mercy. He guessed that a newly breakthrough Chaos Realm cultivator would not dare to kill him openly. But he didn't dare to gamble. Having been in the Snow Realm for so long, I'm used to seeing crazy people. The practitioners in the Snow Realm act recklessly, killing people at will. Background is useful only if you care about the background. Brother Luo He, you are not a guest official of Yangfeng ancient country yet. Even if you really become a guest official, Yangfeng ancient country will not care about the fights between guests. After all, many of the god kings of marginal countries are guests of Yangfeng ancient country. They often fight, but Yangfeng ancient country does not care. Di Chuyu felt something was wrong and immediately sent a message. Even the disciples of the emperor died in the fights outside. As long as it is a fight at the same level, Yangfeng ancient country will not care. Once you kill Liu Yinyang, Liu Yinhu will be furious. As a member of the royal family of the ancient Yang Feng kingdom, he dare not touch me, but I can't stop him. Emperor Chuyu sent a message to persuade him. He was very optimistic about Luo Feng, he valued friendship and loyalty, and he hated evil. But because of his hatred of evil, Di Chuyu was worried that Luo Feng would kill Liu Yinyang. He killed 36 eternal true gods in an instant, but only captured Liu Yinyang alive. The deputy museum owner said, "This Luo, he should not be a reckless person." I tried to persuade him, but he didn't agree to let Liu Yinyang go. I always felt something was wrong. Di Chuyu said, "It's not worth it to put yourself in a desperate situation for a little eternal true god." Di Chuyu persuaded him. The incarnation of Lord Zhejiang had been in the city lord's mansion, and he was also persuading him, "Brother Luo He, congratulations on your breakthrough to the Chaos Realm. But the gap between the Chaos Realm and the Chaos Realm is huge. During this century, I have invited friends from all sides, but still no help has come. You are a newcomer to the Chaos Realm, so there is no need for you to intervene. I will fight with Liu Yinhu to decide the winner. If I lose, I will give up my fiefdom." Marquis Zhejiang, have you given up? Luo Feng transmitted the message. 9 out of 10, this fiefdom cannot be defended. Zhu Jiangho's incarnation transmitted a message, you are a newcomer to the Chaos Realm. You need time to grow slowly. You don't need to intervene now. Luo Feng understood. Luo Feng then looked up into the sky. A wisp of blood-red flame condensed in the sky, forming a dark red armored figure, which looked at Luo Feng. "Release my child, hand over the Snow Realm envoy, and give the Snow Realm another 10 billion cosmic sands as compensation." The dark red armored figure said indifferently, "I will spare you and give you a chance to survive as a newly promoted Chaos Realm. If not, my dealing with you wouldn't be considered bullying the weak." The figure in dark red armor looked at Luo Feng. "You are very confident." Luo Feng looked at him. "If you want to seek your own death, just do it." The figure in dark red armor looked at the scene coldly. Luo Feng nodded, and with force his fingers said, "Bu Yi." This young Master Yang was terrified, but was still crushed into pieces and turned into ashes. This scene shocked Zhu Jianghu and Di Chuyu. Even the dark red armored figure in the distance changed his expression slightly. "Come on, I want to see how I'm courting my own death." Luo Feng looked at the figure in dark red armor. This video will end here.